With his take on the race, we bring in somebody who knows the system so well, former Republican House Majority Leader Tom DeLay. Congressman, welcome back. We're glad to have you. So full disclosure for our viewers, you are supporting Senator Cruz, but I want to know what you tell his critics who say his appeal is not broad enough to beat Hillary Clinton if he were the nominee in the general.
Are you talking about Cruz?
Yes.
Cruz has an incredibly broad appeal with the Republican base, with the Tea Party people. 60% of those voting in the Republican primaries did not vote for Trump, and most of them voted for Cruz. So, no, I think he has a strong appeal because he's smart, he understands the Constitution, he's a man of faith, and he make an incredible role model. So, no, I think some people just don't like him, but they respect who he is and what he stands for.
And you think they're going to get over it? Even if they don't like him as a person for whatever reason, they will put that aside, is what you're saying?
Well, I think that's what the Republicans especially are looking for. We've all been looking for someone who's strong in character and someone who understands the Constitution and can lead this country in the direction of a limited constitutional government and is strong on foreign policy. And Trump is not it. That's obvious because if you add up the delegates right now, there are more delegates that are for somebody else other than Trump has. And people don't seem to understand that. And with 60% of the Republican voters voting for someone other than Trump, people need to sort of focus on that. So, Trump may be the front leader amongst three candidates right now, but I don't think he's going to get the majority.
What do you make of the tweets from Donald Trump, which I will read just to refresh your memory, and then the response, the statement response from the RNC. So Trump tweeted out, had a very nice meeting with Cruz and the GOP, looking forward to bringing the party together, and it will happen, which is decidedly optimistic and speaks to the unity in the party. However, the RNC statement, which my colleague Blake Berman just brought us from Wisconsin, was decidedly less committal and calmer in tone. What do you make of the difference?
Well, first of all, it sounds just like Trump. You're going to win, win, win. We're going to make America great again. You're going to have the most important trade issues and all. I mean, it just sounds like Trump. I'm wondering if he went in there with the question he's had or the demand for changing the rules so that if you have a plurality, you win the nomination. This is a man who said he'd leave the party if we changed the rules. Now he wants everyone to change the rules to fit his plurality. I hope Chairman Priebus stood strong and said, we're going to stick by the rules. If you get a majority, you're the nominee.
Let me ask you where the opportunity lies, as you see it, for Senator Cruz. Donald Trump had a very rough and fractured past 24 hours. He made extreme statements on all kinds of subjects. Dr. Ben Carson, who has endorsed Donald Trump, was on this show last evening. Here's what Dr. Carson told us in response to some of Trump's comments on abortion.
Mr. Trump has stated that if there are punishments, if in fact abortion is made illegal, those punishments should be directed toward the people who are performing the abortion as opposed to the woman who, as I just said, is already being punished in a situation.
Congressman, how do you see Senator Cruz coming out and reaching out to half the population in the U.S., which happen to be women?
Well, first of all, Ben Carson in that statement shows why he couldn't last as a candidate. He wasn't ready for prime time. He hadn't talked about these issues. In this case, he doesn't understand the pro-life movement or those of us who are trying to protect the unborn and babies from being killed. The same thing's happening to Trump now. It's getting down to where people are really getting focused and asking the really tough questions about, you know, what is in the inner man? What do you really believe? And nobody knows what Trump believes. Cruz understands it. a pregnancy is not a punishment. A baby is not a punishment. So the victim here, and when we're talking about aborting babies, the victim is the baby. And what we're trying to do is to save the baby from being killed. And now, that has to...
So do you just think that Trump was pandering and, as you say, doesn't understand the conservative stance, tried to do it, and then had to reel back?
Well, he doesn't understand it, period. I mean, if you listen to a speech by Trump, it's incoherent. There's no depth to any of the issues he brings up. He doesn't understand any of the issues. He's never dealt with these issues, and he hasn't spent what he should have done over the last year studying these issues so that he knows where he is and how he stands on these issues and develop those principles on which he can stand. He hasn't done any of that. And I think that is starting to come out, and people are starting to see it. That's why there's been a big swing in Wisconsin coming up. Trump was leading Wisconsin up until a couple of weeks ago, and now he's fallen behind. He's not doing as well in New York as he was. I think we're at that point that Trump is starting to implode. People are looking for somebody else, and they're looking for a strong person that stands on principle, and that's Cruz.
And I hear what you're saying. It sounds like Tuesday is going to be pivotal. Tom DeLay, former House Majority Leader.
Well, it's not just, Deirdre, it's not just Tuesday. Tomorrow is a convention in North Dakota. Nobody's talking about that.
I'm glad you brought it up.
Where the delegates will be picked.
Yeah.
And in Colorado, coming up in a few days. So there's 100 delegates in the next few days.
100 delegates, as you rightly point out, which are quite significant. Tom DeLay, we thank you, as always.